Robby, what's on your radar?
Well, this is an exciting one. So if you've been watching my radar for the last few weeks, you probably know I don't think very highly of the federal government or our elected representatives or our vast bureaucracy. But yesterday, something happened so rare, frankly shocked. The Senate did something I agree with. And it did it unanimously. That's right, in an almost unheard of example of Congress doing something that isn't totally useless or foolish, the Senate voted Tuesday to make daylight saving time permanent. And like I said, unanimous vote.
Just for anybody watching, in case it's not clear what happened, this just passed.
Oh, the Senate's in a quorum call.
This just passed.
The Senate is in a quorum call.
Let me ask unanimous consent that the Senate exit the quorum call.
Without objection.
And let me make it clear to anybody who is watching.
Senator from Rhode Island.
That they just saw this measure pass. We have just passed the bill to end the return from daylight savings time to make daylight savings time permanent.
That was Sheldon Whitehouse, a Democrat from Rhode Island, and here's Ed Markey, a Democrat from Massachusetts.
The Senate just passed daylight savings time to make it year-round. We're walking on sunshine.
That's not just Democrats. Everybody voted for this thing. Senator Marco Rubio, a Republican of Florida, was a co-sponsor and hailed its passage as a step in the right direction. Quote, just this past weekend, we all went through that biannual ritual of changing the clock back and forth and the disruption that comes with it, he said in a statement. And one has to ask themselves after a while, why do we keep doing it? Why are we doing this? Why indeed? Twice a year, the government requires Americans to change the time on their clocks. In the fall, we gain an hour. In the spring, we lose an hour. You all know this. You're all doing it. This ritual dates back, in fact, to World War I, and its stated purpose was to encourage people to conserve energy, to conserve electricity. The thinking was that creating an extra hour of light during the evenings would lessen the need for electricity. Regardless of the merits of that goal, changing the time twice a year has extreme downsides that far outweigh any benefit from gaining or losing light. As the Cato Institute's Scott Lincecum explained in his definitive takedown of the system, there are myriad reasons to oppose it. For starters, quoting from Lincecum, the semi-annual time change results in all sorts of maladies in the days thereafter. Car crashes, pedestrian deaths, workplace injuries, heart attacks and strokes, depression goes up, adverse medical events because of human error. So now Lincecum favors abolishing daylight savings time entirely rather than making it permanent. So this question is a matter of personal preference, I think, for a lot of people. Some people would rather have brighter mornings and then evenings where it gets darker sooner, while others want the reverse. They'd rather have mornings be dark, get ready in the dark, but then have the day last for longer, have brighter evenings. I know what I prefer. I certainly prefer the latter. And so I hope the House passes a version of the Senate's bill and then President Joe Biden signs it. What the Senate voted to do is the way I prefer it. I think it's vastly better, but we can have a discussion about it. Either way you do it, though, is definitely superior to what we currently have. Changing the clocks is the worst of all. Changing the clocks twice a year does not conserve energy. It just makes people late or early, throws off their sleeping schedules, causes depression, irate behavior, leads to more accidental deaths, car crashes. So bravo to the Senate for striking an unexpected, truly unusual blow against pure insanity, which is what changing the clocks is.
I'm surprised that I thought this was about the farmers. And so you're telling us that this was about conserving energy.
I think that's a popular rumor or myth that it is the farmers. It was about saving energy costs, and it's dubious that it even ever accomplished that.
The urban legend that my mother-in-law was told was that it was so that kids walking to school in the morning would have more sunlight. And she believed that until she was like 65.
Yeah. So that is a important impact of the there's less on the daylight savings time schedule, which we've just started. It's more likely to be dark in the morning, and it'll be lighter late into the evening. So the people who don't like it this way are people who get up very early, which now includes all of us who do this morning show, and who want it to be light out. My thinking is like getting up in the morning is a pain anyway, and you don't make it that much better or worse if it's dark. It'd be nice it was bright, but leaving work and having it be dark out already is miserable.
Which happens all winter.
Right. I would rather have it be later into the day. Vox had a great Instagram post that was, I'm looking at the wrong camera. Can you guys put that up? That is showing how many more late sunrises and sunsets you'd have Yeah, there it is. So under that last one, we get in much of the country, you have sunset. You have later sunsets.
And is that the one that we did? Like the Senate did?
Yes.
All right, good for the Senate.
What the Senate did is the one where we get later sunsets.
Right.
Where you get more daylight in the evenings, which is the way I like it.
And elementary schools should, most of them
They should
start
just stay
later.
later. Oh, they should absolutely start later. It's insane that they start so early. Yes. So that objection that people raise when they say, well, what about kids walking to school in the dark? School should just start later.
Are kids even allowed to walk to school anymore these days, or is that
Yeah,
like
not
considered
under a
child?
I've done radars on that, actually. No, it's largely criminalized, in fact, which is insane.
That's crazy. I was walking to school.
So there
in
you go, no
kindergarten.
problem.
But
First grade, for sure.
school is like still the only thing that starts on like a farming type schedule that does not match human behavior at all. People don't go to work that early. The schools start so early.
And a lot of it's to squeeze in sports afterwards before the sun sets. So pushing the sun back a little bit could help. So hopefully they'll push back. Yeah, like 7:05, 7:10 starting.
That doesn't comport with teen behavior at all. I mean, even like 13-year-olds
Noon
are staying
would comport
up
with teen behavior.
Well, right. Well, maybe it can't be noon, but I mean, these kids stay up 10, 11, midnight, and you want them to start school at 7?
Right, starting at 7.
Yeah,
so they're
that
getting
puts
up
them
in the
at
5 o'clock
5:30.
hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is better to have sunlight later because, like you said, when you get out of work, then you can still enjoy some sunlight. It sucks to be cooped up in your office all day, and then you go outside and it's dark, and it's like, I didn't even get to enjoy the sun at all at that point.
Yesterday was a beautiful day. I got home. I had time to I went for a run, and then I had dinner, and there was still time in that. It was still light out. It was great. So you both agree. So I had arguments with my other colleagues at Reason.
They wanted the morning stuff.
So everyone agrees they just don't want to change the clocks, and we should not do that.
But it's which way should it stick?
And some people preferred it the other way. They don't like getting up, getting ready in the dark.
Those are obnoxious people.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I
Forget
disagree.
them. We don't need to. Where I'm from in Idaho, in Boise, we're actually in the wrong time zone. So Boise is in mountain time, but actually should be, when you look at the map, should be in Pacific time. So
right, it does that thing,
it does
right?
that little, and it cuts Boise out and puts us into mountain time. So when we have, as the clock is now, when it hits summer, it is light until 10, 11 o'clock at night.
It's great.
It's light forever because we're in the wrong time zone. But a lot of places, I've lived in Indiana, for example, and I don't remember, I know while I was living there years ago, they did a shift when it came to daylight savings. They changed their laws, and I'm not sure if they changed it where they stopped doing it or they started doing it.
So Arizona, for instance, does not participate in daylight savings
half
time.
the year they're Pacific time, the other half the year they're Mountain time.
Right. So they go from they're 3 hours off Eastern time, and then they're just 2 hours off.
And it's still a hassle for them because then they have to figure out when their East Coast colleagues are waking up.
And some states, I think, including Florida, some other states, they have passed the state at the state level. They've approved bills to do permanent daylight savings time, but they need permission from the federal government. So
Well, why would they need permission when Arizona and Indiana?
I don't know.
That's weird.
I don't know why they do, but that's.
But does the rest of the world do this, or is this just an American thing? So we're shifting, and then England has to figure out what time are they at now because they just had a time change.
Well, you always have to do that with England, though.
No,
right?
but I mean, they would have to
different.
do it again. It's like Arizona having to figure out, well, okay, what time are they at now?
I don't know. Do they do it on other countries?
Yes, they do. It's different.
Some countries do, some don't. Some do.
But this would. So now you'd have to figure out what time you are relative to the country, but just once, and then it's never going to change.
Right, and
the
then it would stay
changing
that
is
way.
bad.
Unless they change, like other countries.
Well, then, yeah.
And then we would pressure them using sanctions.
But it is true. If you look, it's true. The amount of mayhem that it causes changing the clocks, people die every year because of it.
It's obscene for people to die for something that nobody wants.
That nobody wants, that doesn't have any positive energy effect.
It messed me up this last weekend because I was watching my show. I like Mrs. Maisel, the marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and I was watching the latest episode, and it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and I thought, okay, I think I can watch one more episode before I have to go to bed because I don't need to be anywhere until 11. And so I watched it, and then when it was over, I checked the clock, and it was 3:30 in the morning. Oh no, because the time had changed.
The only redeeming thing is when you're at the bar at 2 a.m. on fall.
The other way. The other way is
you
nice.
Get the extra
that extra hour
at the bar.
One more hour of
I'm not at the
drinking.
bar at 2 a.m. anymore.
The other way is nice. But even the other day, I'm driving to the studio here in the morning, and I'm fiddling with the clock on the road to try to put. I got a new car. I'm like, how do I change my clock on this? Then I ran over a couple people.
And the way to fix the bar thing is to just eliminate the 2 a.m.
I accidentally killed a bunch of people, and it's the government's fault.
It is, definitely.
All right.
Well, our rising panel is with us next. We'll discuss the plunging oil prices amid the Russia-Ukraine war. Stick with us.